This video is intended for United States history classes grades 6 through 8. It contains a brief overview of major wars the United States has had with Great Britain. These wars are known as the American Revolution and the War of 1812, in which we will be discussing in greater detail over the next week in class. Hope you enjoy. Let's start out by talking about America's first war and their fight for freedom in the American Revolution. From 1775 to 1782, the Americans faced off against the largest empire in the world, Great Britain. Led by General George Washington, who later became president, the Americans were able to overcome and defeat Great Britain and move on to become a sovereign, independent nation. There is no one single event that led up to or caused the American Revolution. The list below represents the major events that occurred along the way to war. The Americans believed that they were entitled to full democratic rights of Englishmen. However, the British believed that the American colonies were just colonies to be used and exploited in whatever way best suited Great Britain. These two conflicting views made war inevitable. There were many battles fought throughout the course of the Revolutionary War. However, the one that sealed the fate of the British Empire was the Battle of Yorktown in 1781. General Cornwallis arrived in Yorktown and began preparing a naval base there. All the while, General Washington was moving south and together with French ground and naval forces surrounded the British Empire, forcing its surrender. This victory by Washington and the French ended the war. Later, in September of 1783, a peace treaty was formally signed between Great Britain and the United States, known as the Treaty of Paris. This treaty officially ended the Revolutionary War. Throughout the war, the United States took many steps to further advance their nation. One of these steps was the creation of the U.S. Navy in 1785. Another step our forefathers took was putting into place a governmental structure known as the Articles of Confederation. Later, this structure failed and was superseded by the U.S. Constitution. The second and final war we will be covering in today's video is known as the War of 1812. Some call it the Second War of Independence, for when it ended and the United States had fought Great Britain to a stalemate, America's independence was assured. The president at the time of this conflict was James Madison, and in June of 1812, Madison sent a message to Congress recounting American grievances against Great Britain. After Madison's message, the House of Representatives quickly voted and issued a declaration of war. This marked the first time the United States declared war upon another country. When Madison sent his message to Congress, he addressed a variety of grievances he held with Great Britain. Two of the more important ones were the continued impressment of U.S. citizens and merchant marines into the Royal Navy, as well as continued disputes with Great Britain over the Northwest Territories and the border to Canada. There were many battles fought throughout the course of the War of 1812. However, one that hits close to home is the Battle of Lake Erie. In September of 1813, Commodore Perry defeated the British fleet at the Battle of Lake Erie. A victorious Perry sent his famous message to his commander, "We have met the enemy and they are ours." After the American victory at Lake Erie, forces crossed the lake into Canada at what became known as the Battle of Thames. British forces were forced to withdraw. The American forces caught up with the surrendering British and Indians and decisively defeated them. Tecumseh, the Indian rebel chief allied with the English, was killed in this battle. The end of the War of 1812 came about after the Battle of Chippewa took place in July of 1814. It was at this battle that American forces and General Winfield Scott decisively defeated the British forces. The Treaty of Ghent reflected the state of the war, a stalemate. This concludes the video portion of today's lesson. I hope this gave you good insight into the events that we will be discussing over this next week. Not only did these conflicts pave the way for a free nation, they also defined our relationship with a country who is today one of our greatest allies. Thank you for watching and have a great day.